Hola, Juan here in Reinventing from Scratch. And this week's reflection it's all about now the problem space that I'm going through. If you haven't followed some of my journey, where I'm at now is going a little bit deeper in the problem space. And it's all about people that are trying to reinvent themselves and what are they doing and what's happening there. So I started talking to people last week, and I think I've accumulated insights of 10 people so far. And I realized something really important out of all these chats. And what I've noticed is that almost everyone I spoke, it's feeling kind of quietly stuck, like there's this sense of urgency, of desire, of not knowing, of discomfort of changing. A lot of the people that I've spoken to, they're full-time employees, they're kind of doing their thing, but they're not sharing these as often as they would like. So they're quietly stuck. I'm finding it difficult to get unstuck, and life gets in the way. That was a really interesting realization, this quietly stuck moment. Some of the main reflections that I have out of these is the validation of what I've seen on all sorts of different content from people, from internet, from socials. And it's not new, but then when you do a bit of qualitative research, then you realize that it is true. It is at least something that people are physically living in their own lives. And that's why I love the research part. It's really, really cool. Some of the things that I keep being consistent are they want to change, but they don't know how. And there's a massive sense of discomfort. There's a lot of stories that people play in their heads as to why not to do it. And as anything, we're all getting more comfortable with the unknown, right? So very common, very, very, very common. I don't know if you feel the same way, but it's just there. The other one is, and we will see how this keeps panning out in the next few years, the word about AI taking their roles. In one of the conversations, actually, that's actually happening on this company, where he was one of the people I was talking to was sharing with me that in this scenario, let's call it middle management, there's 3 managers, there's one that stays, they got rid of or made redundant the other 2. And what happens with the manager that stays is supported by, let's say, a tech stack of AI, let's call it AI agents, I don't know what the implementation is like, bridging the gap on output and accuracy. So one person, and the role of the person is definitely validate that whatever these tools are putting out makes sense, and there's no humongous amount of hallucination, and somebody gets to validate and approve that output. So it is happening, and it is happening in all sorts of industries as well. And another one is because some of them are stuck in silent or quietly stuck, there's also a sense of feeling isolated, which is there's no real space where you can go comfortably and navigate these with others. Some of them, they can't do it at work. You can't just go, I'm going to navigate something else. I feel like I'm going to lose my job, so I need to. So it's not an easy conversation to have, or companies, how they're going to enable that internally. But also if you want to do it outside work, or you want to do it like me, just exploring openly, I haven't found where to go. I even been open about it with my videos. And very little people kind of are out there trying to do these. And yeah, I don't know. So there's a sense of isolation. I feel it. And when I talk to the people that I've spoken to, it's the same sense. Something that I could one of the insights that I get out of the conversations is that people don't need another template, or they don't want, fill in another thing by hand. And it sounds like people they need a bit more support, structure, and a space where they can feel safe reinventing, where the quietness can be open, where you have a group of people that are there to help each other and navigate the challenges that every person has, and hopefully celebrate victories together. And that's kind of what I've noticed. This idea that I've been exploring, not as a solution, but is there a space for something that would support people reinventing? It's early, but it would be an interesting system. And next week, I'm going to start to work deeper on what would that look like and see if there's any appetite in the market. As part of this, I've already written value propositions, which is really exciting. I've done 3 value personas. I need to validate the market. And I'm going to test value prop next week through landing pages and paid ads. Nothing huge, just to see outside the people that I'm talking to, which is super exciting. And so if you know of someone, or if you are somebody that it's interesting, that you feel like there's a shift coming, or you're wondering, okay, what can I do now in my life, or I want to change but I don't know how, I would love to hear what's on your mind, and keep having these conversations with people as I try to be a community of people that are doing or wanting or wondering even how to start to make that change. So if you do, send me a DM, no biggie. I would love to definitely hear from you. And next week I'll be testing. So the sense of this week is really cool. I think there's something there for this particular problem space. I would love to be able to involve in helping people, or being part of a community of people and that are trying to reinvent themselves. And I don't know. It's a good call Friday. So thank you for listening. I hope you get to have an amazing weekend. Bye.